All right, let me see if I can get this thing to not move. I got to tape and set that thing up. Hopefully my audio wasn't that bad. I didn't want to pull out the I didn't want to pull out the cord. I have the cord right here, but I'm only like on 30%, something like that. Shalom, Melinda, grace and peace. Good to see you. 1973. I was hoping that I can get on a little earlier. I still don't have the other thing set up. Good to see you, Harv. I don't have the other thing set up. Shalom, Obadiah. But I think we need to talk a little bit more. Of course, my church people are upset. Some of my church people. So I want to clarify some stuff when we start talking about this deep state Christianity. You know, it's getting exposed. There's nothing these folk can do. When the Most High God, when I said God Himself. Oh, I got coffee on deck. Yeah, thank you so much. Grace and peace, son kissed. I got the little thing and I'm pouring it in here and I'm keeping it away from all my electronics. But we were talking about the deep state earlier, and there's things about the deep state or stuff that's going on out here, like when we say there's a shadow government at work. Some people argue we didn't hear nothing about no deep state. Oh man, here they go. They already started the 501. Let me put that down because I want to explain that. Do 501c3's control doctrine, or do they attempt to muzzle us from speaking y'all's truth? Oh Lord, I get on here with these people and it's just trouble, trouble, trouble. Oh, everybody, stop what you're doing and clap right now. Yolanda is here on time. Oh, wait a minute, I'm late, so no matter what, good to see you, Yolanda. It's really great to see you. How's your husband? Greet the family. A lot of people say, oh, well, the deep stuff came on the set with Donald Trump. He started talking about certain things like fake news, but we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about everything in general. I gotta wait for my man Jason. I said we back on. Jason gonna be crying. Shout out to Bishop Brown. Jason gonna be offended if I go in and put all this work in and he's not around. So I said I wanted to bring Jason on. I see Ella Johnson hit me. No, Eric Spanish. I got you, Eric. I see Eric hit me, and who else? Sister Smith hit me. I see all of the emails and stuff, but I just don't want to click on them because I just want to shift all of them over to that master list for when we go in. Of course, I'm going to hit that button. But before we really go in, when they start talking about the deep state, is there a government within the government at work? Are there military leaders? Are there, like some people say, well, the military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex, and how people lobby in the government and they can send money and send people in there. Soros, do billionaires? Do billionaires plot things? Do billionaires attempt to take the destiny of a people in their own hands? Yes, Taylor, shadow government. We got to talk about all of this. But one thing I got to say, now, one thing that y'all know, I'll be on my stuff sometime, but one thing I gotta say is when Dr. Eric Mason wrote that book, I remember discussing before it even dropped, when he dropped that book, The Woke Church. I seen a couple of people and they started, one guy, two guys, they started not to, oh no, I didn't put my phone on. All right, hopefully. I didn't put my phone on or whatever that is, to block their messages and all of that. But when he started that woke church, some people started up YouTube channels. They were saying stuff, and James White and all of them talking about the woke church, and oh, this is a social gospel. It's not the gospel of Jesus Christ. And you know, people went all off into it. Martin Luther King wasn't right because we use him often as an example that Christ is on the side of the oppressed, and he was a reverend and he did such and such. He wasn't even saved. He didn't believe the gospel. Y'all are getting off on what y'all are doing. Hopefully I'm not sure if y'all see those messages, but my sister's sending me some stuff. And they were saying a whole bunch of stuff. One thing I can say, the woke church was a prophetic voice. He wanted to wake up European evangelicals because he's around them folk. Say that I'm not around them folk like he was around them folk. He was around them folk. He tried to wake them up to the injustices that were done in America. One thing I love about God, ain't God good? So I can say that book and Dr. Mason talking was like a prophetic voice because right now, listen to me right now, America, before I even get into me and how people would attempt to put on a spin on it. The deep state pagan church, that controlling church, that occult church that don't have nothing to do with the Most High God. Eric Mason, when he said that, I was like, wow, a lot of people Even when I just started blocking people. I see people making comment and how this thing ain't right and Marxism and all this other nonsense. Listen, God has always been on the side of the oppressed. I don't care what nobody said. So James White, or I think Vody was down with them, all the intellectuals over there in the corner talking now. He went to school, so he got a degree, so he among them. He among them other folk. But them other folk got an opinion that they don't want to speak about injustices and stuff that's going on with us. But look at God. One thing I can say right now, listen, I'm going to tell y'all right now, if y'all look across the globe, if you look in England, if you look in France, if you look at what's going on in Africa, if you look at the amount of people, we have more people, more Europeans that understand, listen, this is wrong what's happening to black people. You got people talking about Black Lives Matter all across the water, across the pond over there in London. And they're standing up and they're saying stuff when the church didn't want to say anything. Now, I'm not saying all of the church, but a lot of these good old evangelical, European evangelicals, they don't want to touch it. They didn't want to touch it, but God is waking up people. You can't do a people wrong, especially if they've been calling out to God. Oh, we're going to talk about the color thing in a minute. But whoever calls on, because remember, Israel was away. That's how come I said, people, y'all don't like the term Israel, but this is a time that we need to spend looking into Israel, going over the last days, looking over everything on their past, and let's look, because the Bible speaks on Israel in the future. When we start looking in there and looking at certain things, Israel cried out to God when they were in bondage. We were two main bondages that we can look at. That's with Babylon, but in Egypt, when they were in bondage, they cried out to God. And God had to do something. God's not going to leave a people. Say God's not slack concerning his promises, as some men count slackness. I don't know what's wrong with these people, so it surprised me, but this is where the rubber meets the road. When you got people and they don't care about the injustice of other people, they don't have the spirit of Yah. I'm not Mexican, but I see Donald Trump and I heard him say things about Mexicans and borders, the wall, and trying to stereotype them. And because God rules in my heart, sits on the seat of the throne of my heart, I have to say something for my Mexican brothers and sisters. How can I let it slide, slick comments, and just wanting to disrespect them? How can I let it slide as a true believer of God? But I'm going to say something. When you start dealing with these people, don't let these folk fool you. Good to see you, Lot. Don't let these folk fool you with the title of Christianity. The title of Christianity means nothing. As a matter of fact, they so wore that thing out. I understand. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at these folk that's walking away from what they call Christianity or don't want to hear nothing from no Christians. Why am I not mad? Because these people know history. Because like I said earlier, Christianity got a criminal record. So I'm going to park right here for a minute and talk about good Christians and the criminal record of Christianity. Now, when I say this, because of course people gonna hit me, Baree, you know I love you, you know I ride with you, I just want to make sure I understand things. Other people just blatantly said, Baree, you making it a black and white thing. Who making it a black and white thing? We ain't never made this thing no black and white thing. This thing ain't about black and white. And we understand that, and some other people understand that too. But part of the deep state, I'm going to give y'all about 4 or 5 things. I'm going to wait till Brent, because that's my man. I'm going to wait till my man come on so we can go in. But when we start dealing with the deep state, they quick to flip the script. I'm going to give y'all 5 things. The deep state will flip the script. Because I bring out facts. Thank you. You said you emailed me, Mello. Okay, man, love you. Appreciate you. How your wife? Because the deep state is quick to flip the script. Because I bring out certain things that are historical facts. Automatically, you making it a black-white thing. It ain't a black-white thing. No, that's not what I said. Shut up and be careful and listen. Because if y'all don't be careful, it's the bait and switch. I tell y'all, it's that magic. It's working that stuff, and that's what deep state Christianity do. Let me give y'all an example. Jonathan Edwards. I'm not sure if y'all know who Jonathan Edwards is, but y'all Google that name. Good old Christian, white man. White man. They already divided up the family. Y'all look at me. I'm a black man. Google Jonathan Edwards. Jonathan Edwards is a white man. This is just how it is in America. Let's not act crazy now, because they done invented black-white. Matter of fact, put that name down here, that guy that invented that right there. Y'all, that broke up the human family into five different groups, and they used anthropology. But I don't want to move too fast. Sinners in the hand, thank you. Oh, man, I told y'all I got some sharp thumpers in here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sinners in the hand of an angry God. Jonathan Edwards, he was the principal or the professor, the dean, the head of Princeton University. Now, I'm not. Now, a few of y'all might have heard of Princeton before, but Princeton is where the big heads matriculate. That's the smarter people. It's a renowned school here in the States. It's among one of the Ivy League schools. Princeton, Cornell, and all, we got a couple of them over here, Yale and all of that stuff. And he was the president there. I think he was the shortest lived president there. He died of smallpox in the mid 1700s or something like that. I can't remember. But Edwards, he was the third president of Princeton, and Edwards had slaves. Now, I want to put stuff in its proper context. Slavery back in the days, there were a lot of pastors that had slavery, like in the hood. When I grew up in the hood in the 70s, there were pastors and there were status things that pastors would have. You got a little storefront on Fulton Street or down on Nostrand Avenue around the way in Brooklyn, 125th Street uptown somewhere. If you had a store to show other pastors, because a lot of storefronts, sometimes you'll see 4 or 5 on one block. If you see a storefront and there's a Cadillac parked in front of the store, you know it's the pastor's car. And pastors would often have things. They would often buy Cadillacs back in the 70s to show it was a status symbol. By the time I started pastoring in the late 90s, early 2000s, everybody had the S classes. Everybody jumped to Benz, and Cadillacs were played out. But back in the days, growing up, every pastor got a Cadillac. Almost every pastor in the hood, little storefront churches, but they had Cadillacs because those were status symbols. Well, during the 1800s and stuff in this country, there were a lot of pastors that had slaves. They didn't have a whole bunch of slaves. They weren't rich, but to show that there was a status symbol, you had to have a slave or two in your house. Now, listen to this. I want to tell you something, because Jonathan Edwards had a few slaves. Now, we don't have a lot of writings by way of primary sources about him with slaves, but something came up with Jonathan Edwards, and this is how they flipped the script. Something came up with Jonathan Edwards and some other congregations, because all white people were not part of slavery. They did not like it. A lot of Christians were saying, listen, some of our pastors are getting slaves, having them in the house, cooking, doing the yard work, and not a whole bunch of them, but a few here. If you had 6 slaves, you did a lot. Most of them would at least get one to show I'm on another level. A black is working for me. I bought a piece of property. Like back in the 70s, I bought a Cadillac. I bought a slave, and they got the slave running around the house. Oh no, I may have to plug my other thing in. And they had the slave running around the house. Hold on one second. Let me try to see this. Okay, I'm going to have to plug it in. And they had the slave running around the house, and with the slave running around the house, like I said, that was a status symbol. Well, Jonathan Edwards, the other congregations were upset, and they wanted to check these pastors that had slaves. So Jonathan Edwards got into the conversation. He wrote certain things, and he spoke on it. And it's so funny that he did some stuff that other Europeans didn't do. He said, the slave, we're equal to the slave. He said, the European and the African. Listen to the deep state. This is why people are walking away from Christianity, because these evangelicals and these type of folk right here, Jonathan Edwards said, we're equal in the spirit realm. We're equal in the spirit realm, but down here, naturally, we're not equal. So we have to be our slaves. There's nothing wrong with the white man having a black slave for life down here, but up in heaven, when you get your reward later on in heaven, we're going to all be equal. And in the eyes of God, our spirits are the same. So he was for evangelizing black people. He was for evangelizing African slaves. But he didn't think that we would ever become equal in God's eyes and the eyes of society down here, but we're equal spiritually, we're equal, so it's good to evangelize the Negro. Now, what do y'all think about that? Because there were other people that came in later on, because the church had a heavy hand in attempting to justify slavery. The church had a very heavy hand. So with the church turn around and do, some people were preaching different things that we would call like the serpent seed doctrine. Eve had a baby with the serpent, and that was the wicked children, or the Ham, the Hamitic hypothesis, where Ham was cursed. Let's give us the curse of Ham theory. And they were pushing that Ham copulated on the ark, and they had to run to European satanic Jewish Talmudic writings and spoke on the curse of Ham and how our skin became darker and our private parts became longer and our lips became bigger because we did nasty things on the ark. So the church ran to justify slavery because slavery was money. Every time you get the church involved with politics and money, you got to be careful because the church can't speak as a prophetic voice. And this is what has happened to the church. But slowly, so much of the church came and was taken over by these individuals. Let's just put it that way. That it got really big, and the bigger the church got, the more it started getting influential. The more the pastors would blend with politicians, and they would speak to matters concerning. Listen, if I speak to matters, if I'm a popular preacher and I'm speaking to matters about slavery, telling all the other popular preachers it's okay, they'll come in Virginia and tithe to my church, especially down in the South. So you had preachers that were running around here doing this. So in America, a lot of people looked up to Jonathan Edwards because he said that they can be saved, and he wrote things saying that we are equal, but we just ain't equal down here. But I thank God that God has stirred up people. So the spirit that was on Jonathan Edwards, the spirit that were on those racist Christian people because they were Christians, and spirits passed down. Remember, we taught this, we spoke on this, and spirits passed down, and you have people that are descendants, that are evangelicals today, that are descendants of them, and they want us not to talk on it. So later on, when other pastors started getting educated, you want to be uppity now. So, I read Jonathan Edwards, I read theological books. So black pastors trying to give us this nonsense. Back in the days, they started giving it to us. Oh, in heaven, we gonna get blessed. So in our neighborhoods, there was a bunch of, you gonna get your reward later on. Don't worry about it in the sweet by and by. And then people that started studying, and I gotta say some of them were squares or Freemasons, they said, no, wait a minute, this ain't Bible. Y'all hear me? They were saying, this ain't Bible right here. They said they don't want to deal with it, and that made a resistance. People started having a resistance. The good old boys, thank you. Come on, Hoff, thank you. The good old boys club. So you had some preachers that were black that wanted to be down with the good old boys club, and then you had the other ones that said, listen, this is a well-oiled machine. We might as well keep it going. And we do see slavery in the Bible. So they justified it the same way other people in the conscious community did it. So now later on, myself and other people, we getting out here, we said we can't believe that we got to explain slavery because some video, Sinetta, conscious community, and so many other people are dropping. And this goes all the way back to the days of Malcolm X. These are serious problems for the church, and the black church is going on because we got something good. We got the choir, we got the singing, we got the dancing, and everything is good. And we're not addressing issues, so they've gone on for a decade or two or three not getting answered. Then here comes social media. Then here comes the internet. Now we got a problem. Black church just moving on like everything is good. Other people acting like it doesn't mean anything. And there's a few people that were going out there and they were making moves. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And I want y'all to know, Catholics and Europeans and Jews were down with Martin Luther King. That's how come I said these people are taking and twisting and like, oh, you making it a black-white thing? No, because whites have always been down with us. Many Jews have been down with us. Jews helped start the NAACP. Let's get the history together. Let's make sure we're in the right history, and I'm giving it proper context because right now, Rush, good to see you. Right now, I could say, listen, any way you slice the cake, it's plenty folk all over the planet. So now we see a phenomenon taking place when the church been quiet. All you black preachers that had that energy for Mason and that woke church, and don't forget about that, you Spanish cat, because there was some Spanish brothers hitting me too. Oh, you got to make sure we in the gospel. Are we in the gospel? Are we in the gospel, all right? But y'all didn't like that. Thank you, Bole gatekeepers. And they wanted to keep certain things down. They played themselves. So now it's a stirring. See that the Bible says that the hand of the king is in the heart of the king is in the hand of the Lord. He can turn it any way he wants, and he's turning the hearts of people. So now you see people are out here saying right is right, and they're not even carrying the title of a Christian. That's how come I'm watching Christians. The title means nothing in and of itself. The title means nothing. Faith without works. Y'all got to be doing something out here. So now all of y'all are fornicating. What's the other girl name? What's Kim Kardashian? What's Kim Kardashian? What's that guy named Kanye West's father-in-law? What's his name? And when they killed one, everybody's a Christian. Everybody's a Christian right now. You can do anything and be a Christian. That's another thing with the deep state. The deep state abuses the grace of God. Do everything. Live any way you want to live, and you just come on in as part of grace. They snuck the muck. They snuck the paganism. They snuck the lewdness, the lawlessness within the church. That's the deep state. So there's Bruce Jenner, thank you. So there's things that you can see when you're dealing with deep state Christianity. By their fruits you shall know them. You're going to know the fruits of these people. They call themselves Christians, Christians, but they run around here doing everything. Paula White's part of the deep state. Them folk running with Trump is part of the deep state. Now, people say, well, deep state got to do with government and religion. Let me slow down for a minute. People, we got to go back to Babylon. We got to go back to Kemet. America ain't nothing but Babylon and Kemet in spirit. Don't get it twisted. Don't be confused. And why do I say that? Why am I saying that? Because the attitude, the priests were down. The priest was down with the state. They were state priests. This is what it comes down to. They were state priests, and this is what we see right now. These people, a lot of these evangelicals and everybody that's making moves out here, they're making moves, but they're down with the order. Politics is their God, and there's a principality that's leading and guiding them. It's not the God of the Bible. I don't care what none of them folks say, and how do I know it? We gotta inspect fruit. We fruit inspectors. We got an eye on the fruit. We got an eye on their behavior. Their behavior deceives them. What else? The deep state people, they flip the thing. They're good for flipping it. They're professional. I'm gonna show y'all. Oh, I can't get into everything. I see Brown texting me. When we start dealing with the deep state, what do I mean? They'll flip the game. They'll blame things on you. They'll flip it because I bring up Jonathan Edwards. I'm making it a black-white thing. I ain't said not one thing. I just brought up a facts. They don't like facts. Jonathan Edwards was a white man that had slaves. We know Leah. We know a few. We know at least he had a few of them. One was Vince. Let me see. I think I might have wrote that down. Vince, Titus, and Leah. He had at least 3 of them. I can give y'all the article. Matter of fact, I wrote some stuff down. Spiritual Equality of the Races. Jonathan Edwards' Life, page 256. I'm going to give y'all some authors. I'm going to give y'all some stuff. I'm trying to wait to get it on the slide. But these are things that we got to look at. So they'll flip things around. They play the blame game. You got to watch these people that play the blame game. You got to watch Candace Owens. These people start playing the blame game. Now, y'all seen that Candace Owens, they said to GoFundMe, they had to dead her. They deaded her account because she's running around here want to bring up Floyd's record. And I told y'all got to watch these people. So they wanted to bring up Floyd's record. So let me go on. I got to plug my thing in. Let me see how much it's on, because this phone is gonna, and everybody gonna be upset with me. All right, I'm on 15 and 5 more minutes. Somebody remind me to plug this phone up in 5 minutes, but I got to plug the mic out. This is an older phone, but don't worry. We stepping up. God bringing us up slowly. Slow work, but it's a show work. So another thing they'll do, they play the blame game. What's the blame game? The blame game is when they always want to talk and write and speak about Christianity and blacks and criminal behavior and who's a felon and all of this stuff, because that's part of, they have a playbook. There's a playbook that they have. And this is for everybody that's moving in that way, how to manipulate. There's a playbook that they have. And inside of their playbook, they play the blame game. Oh, they were in slavery. Oh, in Africa. Then I heard that. What other fool named down in Florida, that so-called proud. She said, I'm glad God let us go into slavery. Oh, wait a minute. Some of you preachers got to stop the nonsense y'all talking about. Y'all turning people away from the faith. You're not speaking with wisdom. I'm glad God let us go into slavery, she said. But the way they blame it is they're going to blame the rape victim. The girl went to, I remember the projects, the girl ran out to the bodega. So she went to the bodega, and coming back in the building, some guys was getting high in front of the building. They went in the back of the building and drug her in the staircase and raped her. The people in the neighborhood, the guy that plays with one of the guys that's arrested, mother, and the other one, they started saying, I seen that little fast behind girl walking around here with them yoga pants. She was only, 15, but some of our sisters are young and developed. So she was young and developed. Automatically, this lady and her son and the nephew and a few people started blaming the girl because she's a little hottie out here. They said she got little tight pants. So what that got to do with your son and that boy from the second floor dragging that girl in the staircase, bringing her coming from the bodega? What that got to do with anything? Hold on, I got to read this right here in the super chat. But that's the blame game that they played. They lie. It was Canaan who was cursed. Absolutely right. And not Ham, and it was not forever. It showed up in the land of Canaan, and the curse in its 3rd and the 4th generation. But mercy and grace comes when you repent. Genesis 9:25. Absolutely so. And they took that thing and they stretched it out. So they played with scripture, and then they turned around and went and got Talmud and satanic writings to try to make this thing go on. But the thing that's hurtful, Christian scholars, Christian pastors, Christian priests were behind it. So now the people that are bearing the fruits, because these European evangelicals, these companies that's around right now that got all this land and all this money off of cotton to make America a great country, cotton, slavery, and all of that stuff brought us up to superpower status. And then, after World War, they were doing what they were doing, and different families, different organizations were lending money to both sides of the war and funding different things. And we came out as a superpower. A lot of this is based off of the backs of slavery and Christianity connecting with institutions, supposedly God's institution, Christianity, connecting itself with politics, connecting itself with the world, and doing something to a whole entire nation of people. Yeah, that's a problem. These are problems. Please remind me to plug my phone, and I got to keep looking at this thing. So when you get problems like this coming up, all right, 13, I'm good. When you get problems or when you get things like this coming up, you have to look at it. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth. Come on now, y'all like that book? Yeah, no, I'm Pentecostal. I'm gonna take the book and go somewhere else with it. But they gotta pay. But because they abuse the grace of God and the love of God, do what you want to do. There's never no consequences to the sins. That's why some people got beat with my messianic people, because they want to say, listen, this consequence, you got to do something. They want to act like it's a works-based salvation, but bring forth fruit. Show something, my God. Don't keep raping. Don't keep murdering. Don't keep doing all of this stuff and calling yourself a Christian. Come on. Come on, we got to get it together here. We got to figure this thing out. Deep state Christianity. When we start talking about deep state Christianity, let me just bring up one or two things. They deal with false flag operations. Oh, the church going to be out here doing one thing and blaming, like I said, blaming the victim or blaming something else. Because one of the main goals, when you scamming, when you getting your scam on, when you're down with the deep state, you got to have them thinking this is the problem and not that. Y'all notice every time election is getting ready to come up, they got some other crazy stuff going on over here whilst they passing laws over there. This is part of finesse. That's all this is. Oh, this ain't nothing but what we call the finesse. The finesse is at work. And these people they are heavy with the finesse, and the church is down with the finesse. Now, is it the church of the living God? No, but it's what's known as the institution of Christianity. Now, it's interesting because the institution of Christianity, they said we were separate, Protestants and the Catholics, and we were separate from them, but we had moves with people trying to bring the Protestants back underneath the umbrella of the Catholic Church. You got to watch the deep state. The deep state don't care about borders. The deep state don't care about denominations. They give y'all denominations whilst in the background they were cultists and they belong to different secret societies and fraternities, and they all work together. Oh, we got to talk about the games they play. It's like wrestling. So coming out, we fighting each other, wrestling, but behind the scenes, everybody are friends. Oh, it's deeper than y'all think it is. Thank you for once again speaking boldly and more importantly, truthfully. Thank you so much. We appreciate you doing that. Somebody else came with the 501. Y'all gonna make me touch that 501. The 501 is not actually telling people what to do, but can it put muzzles on you? Some people say that's open to debate. It's not open to debate because if you're taking money. The gentleman, the organization, the company I'm down with, he was like, this movement, this ministry I'm down with, God bless the director, he came in and he was talking about some building and some more stuff he wanted to do. And I'm like, man, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. But he's been doing this for decades. He's been doing this for decades. And he said, I will not take a penny from them. There are churches like that. He said, he's not going to have the freedom in God to do what God has put on his heart. You'll put the 501, they'll start giving you money. And all right, you got to help everybody. You got to let everybody in. You got to let some transvestites get on staff. Stop preaching now. Not too much Bible. You judging those people. Don't speak against abortion. How can you do that? How can you serve two men? Oh Lord, I gotta leave y'all alone. Y'all gonna make me start saying other stuff. Y'all gonna make me start saying other stuff. There's a lot of things that we gotta look at. They're led by deception. They're led by terror. They're led by fake news. Fake news is the thing, and people say, oh, fake news just have to do with politics. No, fake news is in church. I used to watch fake news all the time on Daystar. Oh, when I used to watch, what's that other one y'all got? TBN and all of that, Paul and them? What's the rest of them? Oh, that ain't nothing but fake news. And the thing that hurt me, they had a lot of black preachers on there, and that wasn't nothing but fake news. They getting on here, and they going to give y'all one healing, one miracle, and they going to beat that thing to the ground. They're going to beat that thing to the ground. My homegirl, Father God, people, I'm going to get myself... Listen, people running around here selling oils, and the oil selling, I'm going to plug it in a minute, Mello. Oil selling, they were selling pieces of the cross, they were selling pieces of Noah's Ark. We see the deep state effect with Constantine mama and them. Helen, that Helena, what's Constantine mama? Put her mama name down there, Kenneth Hagin. Oh, thank you, Jesus is Lord. Good to see you. How's the wife? Listen, when we start dealing with stuff, all of these people, Kenneth Copeland, I got to bring in the other people too, because there was some black faith healing preachers, and they started selling y'all stuff. They started telling y'all, and we'll take y'all to obscure passages in the Bible. And God worked miracles by the hand of Paul, and bodies were healed, and even handkerchiefs that went out. Oh boy, we took that thing and ran amok with it. I know plenty of preachers bought planes and offered the handkerchiefs, offered the oil, and offered that water. Y'all leave Peter Popoff alone. He was another one, got plenty rich, got plenty cars, Ferraris and everything. And then when their partners got mad later on with Joyce Myers and them, Congress wanted to say, listen, we want to see y'all records. We want to see some stuff, because they understood that this was an untapped thing. They're on the side getting plenty cake like the Rockefellers and them. We going back to Prohibition. They getting plenty money under the table. This religious money is plenty money. Oh Lord, I got it out right now. It's a lot going on. I can't go live. I can't go live. It's a lot going on. We got to talk about it. A lot of people, they're not going to like this, but it's a lot. So now what is the state? Deep state Christianity. What is real Christianity going to do? Because I know some brothers and sisters, European brothers and sisters, African American brothers and sisters, Hebrew brothers and sisters, and they're part of that. They're part of the true calling. There is a true Christianity out here, but there's so many fake bags. You got to go all through the fake stuff. You got to go all through that fake stuff. You walking downtown Brooklyn, you walking in Harlem, 125th Street. I won't even advise nobody to get a bag from down there, because 90% of them bags is fake. Y'all got to go up in the spot where the real thing is. But we got to know, and we got to look at signs for what's authentic. We need authentic stuff. There's certain things you can look at. They told the people, even in the store, we used to go to the store and buy the bags on Canal Street and get the girl to put it on a card and take it back to Macy's. Take the fake bag back and buy the real bag. Of course, they look so good. Had Macy's shook. Had them shook with, I'm telling it all. I said we got to put it all of it out there, because right now it's so flooded. The hood is so flooded with the bootleg. I'm going to tell y'all about that Green family, too, with the Hobby Lobby. We building us a museum. We building us a Bible museum. We got tens of millions of dollars, and then they started buying artifacts from the Holy Land. This is real story. The family that owns Hobby Lobby, they're millionaires, and they were building a museum. So in the midst of building a museum, they telling everybody, we got hundreds of millions to spend. They automatically flooded the market with fake Bible manuscripts, with fake artifacts from the Holy Land. Why? Because they said out here, we got that bread, where's the work? It's just block talk. This is all block talk. So they said Hobby Lobby, the family flooded the market, and now it's a whole bunch of manuscripts and stuff out here dealing with the Bible and the Holy Land, and it's all bootleg. If you start spreading money around, you know the bootleggers are coming. The gamers are coming. So the gamers came, and the gamers took over Christianity. And when they took over Christianity, what's the first thing they got to do? They got to silence all the prophets and the apostles. Oh, we don't know if there's no prophets around. There aren't no real prophets anymore, because the real prophets started exposing them folk on TBN. Then they started saying there weren't none. So everybody, well, there's just a few evangelists. There ain't no prophets out here. And they want to denounce everybody that's speaking the word of God. Everybody got a gift, and everybody got a calling. They want to shut the office down. Fake news. God's got a people out here. God's got some voices out here. But the prophets ain't looking like y'all, because y'all expect them in some Maury Gators. Y'all expect them in some jets. But when they ain't coming in a jet, when they working a regular job, you can't believe that's a prophet of y'all. Boy, y'all gonna learn something today. Oh, you gonna learn something today. Oh, we gotta go deep in this. We gotta go deep in this history. We gotta go deep into this Christianity. Oh, this is another level right here. This is another level. So they took over, and they had the power, and they've been moving for generations. They've been moving for centuries, and the Christian game is flourishing in America. I'm gonna tell you, I hate that. I'm getting out of here. Let me hold on a minute. Let me look at this thing. I gotta plug this phone in. Oh man, I'm on 8%. I'm gonna be in trouble messing around with y'all. But listen, I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. The Christian game is so powerful, and other scammers all over the world have looked at it. And when they look at it, what they did, I'm telling y'all right now, that Christian game, that quote-unquote Christian game, has got some jets and got some mansions down in Ghana. That Christian pimp game is on another level in Africa. And it's always going to be around a certain people. Why is that? Oh, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to do this without Bishop Brown. I don't want to do this without Jason Brown. There's a reason that it's going among a certain people in Africa. The same deception, the same prosperity lie. Why y'all think that is? Oh, y'all gonna make me, I'm drinking this coke. Y'all gonna make me, I don't want to say it all. I don't want to say everything. But it's funny the places that the game go to. The places that they see that they trying to these folk. When I say these folk trying to stop an away, when I say these folk trying to stop a move, these folk ain't playing. So y'all think it's just a little propaganda here, it's a little propaganda there. They're gonna do fake news, fake terrorist activities. They're gonna lie. They're out here doing. It's on a whole nother level. It's on a whole nother level, to the place where they'll even get the real pastors, the real prophets, the real men of God, and they'll put you, go ahead, they'll send a pretty usher up there. They'll send the pretty young nurse up there to catch you on video. The deep state is a terrible thing, because they're caught up into the occult and they're caught up into orgies. It's Christian bishops and pastors that's caught up into orgies and freaking and homosexuality, and it's spreading deep among them. But in the deep state, they got to keep it on the low, so they move off of bribes. I'm gonna tell you, matter of fact, I'm getting out of here. They move off of bribing people. Oh, they been tapping phones. They been following people. They been listening to come on, let your wife come on. I want to come on and counsel so they can get that's what Nimrod and them people did. The confession, so people can come and confess and they can know your secret. I know your secret. I know your secret. Nimrod and them was doing that before they had cell phones to tap. Before we had COINTELPRO and people coming in to infiltrate. You to go and confess to the priest so you could live in the other world. Oh, that's where the confession comes from. That's in the Catholic Church. That's where the confession. That book don't tell us about no confession. No, I'm careful. I ain't telling these preachers all my business. Wait a minute. No. This ain't how they messed the whole game up. So we got the book and we go to the priest to confess. That's part of the deep state. Oh, they on another level with it. Man, let me see. I might have to plug this out. I'm going to try to plug the phone in, but I don't want to go any further. It's too much stuff that be coming out when we deal with this deep state. It's a lot of stuff that be coming out. Most of what we call Christianity here today in America is not from the Most High God. There it is. I done said it. I'm saying it without saying a whole bunch because my phone is on 5%. I don't know if I plug this thing out. Appreciate you, Eric. I see you in the super chat. Thank you in the super chat. I see you in the email. And I'm going to store your number in the phone. It's a lot going on. This is a lot going on. I'm telling y'all right now. People say, well, let's just sing. No. We got to talk. We're going to sing, we're going to clap, and we're going to give God his praise. See, there's been a people, we've never shut God off of his due. We've been giving him his due. We've been giving him glory. We've been lifting our hands in the sanctuary and blessing his holy name. We've been doing that. But at the same time, some of us been thinking. Some of us been watching. Some of us been involved in it. And God, I'm saying, come out wherever you are. There's more people in the deep state realize, wait a minute, I ain't even saved. I grew up, I'm involved in a business. I'm in the business of preaching. Oh, no, I got to wait a minute. God, search my heart. If there's anything in me, got anything that's unclean, bring it out. We got to pray by the Spirit of God to show us. But these are people that's operating and moving in this religion, and they have a sad conscience. That's not going to preach. That's not going to have sex up in the church. That's not going to make a deal with little boys up in the church. It's a sad conscience that we're dealing with. And God's exposing it all. And if he need a people to free a people and to help a people be freed, because we said we couldn't do it with our European brothers and sisters, but the church and their sad conscience ain't want to do it, God will raise up anybody in the streets. We're with them. Black Lives Matter. Man, I'm getting out of here, y'all. I'm good. Well, you don't want to, but you still want to go. Shut up. Deep state can't tell me nothing. Y'all got to we got to get ignorant with it. I'm too narrow-minded. I'm not dealing with the deep state. Well, I'm a bishop. You don't even listen to the bishop. Nope. Shut up. That's deep state. I could tell by your actions. I tell by your fruits. You can't be in this thing all these years and don't got no fruit. Your whole backyard empty. Ain't no fruit. Ain't no nothing. Come on, man. I'm good. I'm good. We're just seeing. We're observing certain things. We're seeing things. We're observing certain things. It is what it is. Thank you. He said, one of my men said, ain't no titles. Ain't no titles. God ain't Sam the Baptist. God ain't dealing with no titles. And they rode us. They had us in the black church with them titles. I can't lie, they had us for a minute. But we waking up. Other people seeing stuff and they coming up out of it. All right, y'all, I'm getting out of here. Maybe we'll get on in the morning. I brought out a few things. I said I'm supposed to be dealing with the canon. But sometimes the Holy Spirit will arrest you and then you'll start dropping some other stuff you're dealing with. Y'all going to know it's official. If y'all ever hear, Father G, if y'all ever hear me and y'all see that video come up, because I said I'm going to hold it. And sometimes I get in some prayer and I come out that prayer ignorant. Some people say, well, how you saying you coming out of prayer ignorant? I don't know how it's going, Yolanda. I come out of prayer ignorant. I come out of prayer ignorant. If y'all ever, let me see a couple of, like that other thing we were praying, and you know, we were just laying into some things. If y'all ever see me drop a video series, anytime, if y'all ever see it come up that I'm live, thank you, man. I appreciate you so much, Jones. If y'all ever see that I'm live and y'all see the title of the video saying looking unto Jesus, y'all might as well know this fool done lost his mind. They gonna kill him because he just gone. He done went off the deep end. If y'all listen out for that video, y'all listen out for that series, looking unto Jesus. Once y'all hear that, y'all gonna know it's he's done. He's cooked. He's cooked, and that's it. Shalom. We appreciate everybody in here. I'm gonna get up out of here right now. Y'all know what it is. $ Berea Teach. BereaTeach@gmail.com. I love y'all. I'm getting out of Ella Johnson. We back up. We're back up. We believe it was this week. We believe we're back up. Zoom, slide, and everything else. Love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Jab, so much. Thank you in that super chat.